critical position that a woman played in Afghanistan in the middle of a war zone in a way that a man could never. And that is, during the day, in many villages in Afghanistan, the men go away to work, which leaves behind villages full of women and kids by themselves. Okay.
Just
and
like
what happens is you need a woman to go into those spaces in the middle of a war zone to go have conversations with those women for intel purposes, General McChrystal, winning hearts and minds, you name it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's religious reasons that men cannot speak to those women. You need women that can be on the front lines. You need women to do those jobs.
So that's still a support role.
It is not.
It is.
My friend,
That
it
is
is
a
not.
support
I was
role.
part of an 8-woman female engagement team. I promise you, nothing about my job was a support role.
So let me ask you a question, like an honest question. Are the standards in the United States Army for women and their physical readiness and fitness less than that of men in combat roles?
Okay, so
Yes.
Believe me, I've been debating this since I was 17 years old. I'm happy to talk to you about this. Yes, to answer your
All right,
question.
is there
Hold
a
on. Wait.
I just want to finish this one point.
Okay.
Is there a single female Navy SEAL?
Oh, yeah, there is actually.
is.
Yeah.
I thought there was one female ranger. Is
Yeah.
there a female
there's
SEAL?
multiple female rangers as well.
I wasn't aware that there was a female
Kristen
SEAL.
Greist is one of them.
She's a female Navy SEAL?
I wasn't worried about a SEAL, but I know about a ranger.
Oh, no. Sorry, I cannot name any off the top of my head, but that is not because there's not. There definitely is.
I don't think there's a single female Navy SEAL that's actually gone through basic underwater demolition school and passed it.
Someone Google
Okay,
it.
well, hold on a second, because now we're getting into women even being allowed to even try. Okay,
They're allowed to try.
Okay, but I know the dates and timelines on this shit. So 2016 was the first year women were even allowed to even attempt to go into those roles. And I was actually one of those first women that even went to go through the schools for it. When I went through OCS, I was going through OCS with the intent to become one of the first female infantry officers. Okay, it took me asking 8 years in a row to even go to air assault school. Okay, and I
did
got
you branch?
denied. I was multiple things in the military, but I was in for 16 years. But what's really, really important is I asked for 8 years to go, and I met not just meet the physical requirements. The physical requirements are on a scale of 0 to 300. I not only maxed it at 300 on the women's scale, which I'll give you that, but I went over that, and I met what the 18-year-old males were doing. I was running 2 miles in 12 minutes, which is 6-minute miles. That's pretty fucking fast, okay? And I did that as a very, very capable, qualified female. I still wasn't allowed to go to air assault school. Here's the reason why. You're a girl. You'll never make it through. For 8 years, I got told that. And finally, on the 8th year, I made it through. So I just want to tell you, I fully agree with women being held to the same standard as male. But yes, we do have physical differences. That does not mean in today's age that we can't fight the same way.
Let me ask you a logical question. The United States military was separated by men and women, and there was a internal conflict, an internal war where half of the army went against the other half. They had the same resources, same everything. One half was women, one half was men. Which one would win overwhelmingly?
So, sorry, can you say that question one more time?
Yeah. Let's assume we split the army in half, gave them exactly the same resources, exactly the same manpower, exactly the same tanks, jets, air support, everything.
The men would probably
Men on one side, women on the other. Who wins?
I don't know, because there's been some amazing.
know.
Come on.
The men would probably
Amy, Lieutenant, you do know.
And that's when the
I'm sorry,
cognitive
I disagree.
dissonance comes
I'm
in,
sorry,
and
I disagree.
Let me give you-
There's some
There aren't-
incredible women
agreed,
leading
but there- but there-
strategic
agreed,
battles
but there
right
aren't-
now
there-
today.
agreed.
Today.
But there
In fact, the
aren't-
Navy is led by
Right.
a woman today.
I agreed, but there's
Today.
but
the
there's
chief of staff.
right. But my point is,
And
there,
it goes
there
down.
aren't
the
enough.
chief
There
of
aren't,
staff.
Keep going down the ranks.
right, but
keep going
there
down the
aren't.
ranks.
By comparatively, there aren't enough of like there
Hand-to-hand
aren't-
combat, men would win.
Okay, right, but there aren't enough like female tank commanders that went to NTS and
We
fucking.
didn't get the opportunity to
Okay,
even
so
go.
but that's okay, right? But that's the point is there aren't enough women to where you'd be
at
able
this
to
point
pull
in
that.
time. Yeah.
Well, let's just take it to the next level. Let's assume there was, and it was totally equalized. The force was equalized as far as you had all the same resources, the exact number of women to men, the exact same amount of technology. You still think women would even have a chance?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
they have a chance.
Well,
Yeah, so let
that's
me-
when the cognitive
Absolutely.
dissonance gets to
Yeah,
the
let me
point
give a
where I just
I mean,
disconnect.
we went to the moon because of a woman.
No, we did not go to the moon because of a woman.
There
Did
was
math. That's
women-
ridiculous.
No.
It's the
No,
most ridiculous
It's not
shit.
ridiculous
Where
at
did-
all.
Okay,
It's
so
not ridiculous
this is
at all.
this is kind of my wheelhouse. What specifically are you talking about? We went to the moon because of a woman. What specifically do you want?
The
chick did
whole
the math.
bunch of mathematicians that were behind that.
So there was an office of astrodynamics,
Yeah,
if
and
you
this
will.
is where you're losing me.
Yeah,
Here.
no,
You
no,
don't
no.
need to
hold on,
make fun.
listen,
You can
listen.
educate me.
There
You
was-
don't need to make
there were-
fun.
hold on. there were 600,000 people that worked on Gemini.
Of course.
And 98% of them were men.
But again,
Yes.
because
Right.
men would not let women go
Correct.
into the positions that they
Correct.
rightfully
But
deserve to go
we
into.
didn't land on the moon because of specifically because of a woman. Now, there were some like calculations that had to be redone, especially like during Apollo 13. And yes, in that offensive, the women were literally called calculators. That's what the name of them were. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I'm not trying to disparage them because obviously I'm a big fan of anybody who did that in the moon landing. But the reality of the situation is it wasn't the majority. It wasn't even 1%.
I didn't say that. And I probably overgeneralized when I said that. But I'm just saying, like, and by the way, I was the first person on this show to say that I definitely agree that we need men and men are amazing and all of these other things. Like, so I just want to clarify. I'm not like pulling some like
But you was also
feminism
the first
movement.
person that said that disagreed when I said that women need guidance, and this further proves my point, right? Because women tend to prioritize. You got your prioritizations messed up. You tend to prioritize what's good instead of what's best, right? So this conversation that we're having, you're saying that, well, women can do this. Well, women can do this. They can be good. You said that, well, yeah, you lifted or did something and you met a standard that an 18-year-old met, right? An 18-year-old boy. Well, okay,
When
good.
I was a 17-year-old
great,
girl,
but that's
yeah.
good. But that's not what's best to do. And men just happen to be better at the job. Not only that, let me ask you all the questions. Show of hands real quick, right? So are y'all pro-women? Who's pro-women?
Absolutely.
Anyone pro-women?
I love women.
Pro-women?
Women
I'm
are
pro-
great.
women are great.
Pro-women.
Yeah,
And we
but
would
not
all agree.
feminists.
The males would agree with this. So, but it's